What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Season Gaming Bitcast. Ains here, Dan and Bert joining me. This is Bitcast 46, and we're going to be talking today a lot about Anthem. It is here. We've played it quite extensively. What do we think about our early thoughts there? We had a Nintendo Direct this week, so we finally got some of the news coming out on Nintendo's side, some new first-party things, and some small surprises, which look pretty good. We got Neil Blomkamp creating an Anthem video, which we got really excited about. Some other news on major titles. Blizzard has pissed everyone off, and we'll talk about that as well. We've got a couple reviews with you today, Apex Legends, Kingdom Hearts 3, and then we'll get to some of the things we've been playing beyond Anthem, including Crackdown and Far Cry New Dawn. So guys, let's kick it off with the Nintendo Direct. So it was about 35 minutes long. It was a packed 35 minutes, which was great news for Nintendo fans. And I'm just going to run through some of the major things we saw here and then let you guys comment. So we've got Super Mario Maker 2 coming to the Switch, which I'm pretty excited about. I love those types of games. I think one of the things that caused the biggest kind of hubbub is a remake of Zelda Link's Awakening, the classic Game Boy game, coming back at a fresh new art style. Looks really beautiful, coming to the Switch as well. We got Tetris 99, a unique take on Tetris. Things like Fire Emblem 3 Houses and Dragon Quest Builders 2 are coming. We got announcements of some ports like Mortal Kombat 11, Hellblade, Assassin's Creed 3 all coming to the Switch, so increased third-party support. And then, obviously, Bert's favorite announcement, we have Ken, Daisy, and Young Link amiibos on the way. So, guys, what do you think about Nintendo Direct? You a little more excited for Nintendo's 2019 outlook now? What about the Zelda remake, Mario Maker 2? Let's hear it.
Yeah, so a couple things that were kind of cool about it. First of all, we're glad we did get a Direct. There was a lot of rumors that we weren't going to get one in February, and then they finally announced it only a few days before it actually came out, so that was kind of cool. I did like the overall theme of the Direct. There's a couple of surprises that were obviously saved for the end. We'll touch on that in a second with Zelda. At the same time, there's a couple things that they announced that were ready as you were watching. So that was kind of cool. And what I'll mention directly about that was Tetris 99. If you don't know what that is, it is a Battle Royale version of Tetris. And I did play it already. It actually works, funny enough, in a weird way. You're literally playing with 99 people, obviously 98 if you don't include yourself, and you're literally fighting against each other in kind of a versus Tetris mode. I did play 2 games of it. The first one I got 9th place, and the second one I got 27th place. And you have to be really, really good at Tetris to obviously do well. A few other announcements, and I'll pass it off to Dan, that kind of surprised me. That was kind of cool. The Yoshi's demo was available during the actual the announcement of it kind of coming out. That was kind of cool. I've played through the level of that, and it's cool because if you like Yoshi's Woolly World, this is more of the same and kind of newer graphics. There's not really anything revolutionary, but if you did like the Yoshi's Woolly World game on the Wii U, I wouldn't say this is a port, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of what was in Woolly World has transferred over to this game, which is good and bad depending if you were wanting something new. Yes, the amiibos have me excited, with the exception of Daisy. I don't care for her. But it is cool to see some ports coming through, like Hellblade, which is one of my favorite games of this generation. However, I don't know how that's going to run. It did struggle to run on PlayStation 4 and the launch Xbox in super high resolution. However, we got some nice enhancements with the Pro and the X, which is really cool. And other than that, it was a pretty cool presentation. Cool to see a lot of what they've been talking about before. I'm not sure if this means that 2019 is going to be this amazing year, but it is cool to see some more details on what they're doing for the next at least few months and maybe the rest of the year.
Yeah, I watched some of it, most of it, pretty much the whole thing. So, Zelda is going to be cool, because I've never actually played that game. That was a Game Boy Advance game or something, right? It was, I've never played, that one I'm looking forward to a lot. It looks awesome. I played some of Tetris 99, Bert, also. I finished 43rd and then 94th. I hate Tetris. I also hate Battle Royale. So this is like the perfect storm of games that I hate. However, it is pretty cool. They did a really cool little job with it. I can appreciate it, objectively, and say, yeah, you know what? If you're a Tetris fan, even if you're not a Battle Royale fan, this might, let it's cool. It's cool. That's all I can say about it. But not for me. The ports, You know, I've got them on other consoles. As far as games that I didn't know were coming, the Fire Emblem game looks really cool. I played the other one, and I'll probably check that one out. Amiibos, obviously, don't care, but that's that's more your deal. The Super Mario Maker, I probably will get for my kids. You know, I'm just glad they came out with something. They came out with something this month. I think if they do a couple more, maybe this year, and just kind of, you know, maybe one in, I don't know, June or so, and, you know, kind of hit out the rest of the year. I'd like to see a little bit more. I was really, really hoping for that Metroid Prime trilogy remake, but, you know, that was more of just wishes and dreams. Crushed by Nintendo, as usual. So, thanks. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm relatively similar. I think I'm going to get Mario Maker out of this group here. Tetris 99, correct me guys, I haven't looked, but it's free, right?
Yep.
It is. It's free and available during the actual announcement.
Yeah, so I haven't turned on my Switch since it, so I need to download that and the Yoshi's demo. Zelda Link's Awakening, I love the art style. I think it looks fantastic. But as I said before, they're really not up my alley nowadays, so I may check it out, but I hope other people will enjoy that. I'm sure they will. And then, as Dan said, the ports don't interest me. I was really hoping to see, the sad thing here, I was really hoping to see the Metroid Prime, remakes, and I was hoping to see more of Luigi's Mansion. That's the game I'm most anticipating in 2019, but we didn't get to see that. So not a lot here that got me going personally, but it's good to see new content. To Bert's point, I like that they release things during the show. I think that's become kind of a theme during E3, during PSX, during, inside Xbox, those types of things, is that these companies like releasing things and getting people excited at that moment, so that's pretty neat. But yeah, anyway, I guess we'll see what Nintendo's got up their sleeves, and we'll just continue to wait to see more of Metroid. So
yeah, Ains, and if I could touch really quick on the main points of the main game. So Super Mario Maker 2 has a release date of June 2019, so that's actually coming soon. Zelda did not have a release date at all. It simply said 2019. We don't know if that's a fall, and as we can kind of expect, it's probably going to be a fall game since Super Mario Maker 2 is going to be the game for the summer, I guess you could call it. And then you have Yoshi for the spring. So those are kind of the three big games that we know for sure are coming. Obviously, we might see more at E3. Another cool thing that they showed, which is kind of, I guess, neat for Nintendo fans, but they showed Mortal Kombat 11. You can kind of imagine there's going to be a severe downgrade in overall graphics and stuff, if that means anything to you, from the big consoles, because Ed Boon has been talking about how this new one's just going to look amazing on the X and the Pro. And you can kind of expect that to be cool there and then a downgrade there. So that's kind of something that's coming. A lot of people have been wanting that to come to the Nintendo Switch, and here it is. But yeah, so there's some cool things. The other thing, the Dragon Quest Builders 2, kind of cool if you like it. It's just a lot of the same. It's more of just like an expansion, but it is being titled as number 2. They didn't really show much outside of the trailer itself, so gameplay was very scant, I guess, as far as what was shown.
Cool. Well, let us know your thoughts on the Nintendo Direct, guy. I know we were getting some questions around, what we thought about it, anything that really jumped out. So happy to discuss that. Let's talk about Sony for a second. So Sony Corporation, Yoshida came out earlier this week and announced that Jim Ryan, who was deputy president, is taking over as the CEO and chief of Sony Interactive Entertainment completely. So he and John Cadera, the current CEO, are essentially switching roles. So they didn't really say it this way, but from a corporate perspective, it looks like Cadera just got demoted, and Jim Ryan's going to be taking over. So Jim Ryan is famous for a few things, some good, some bad. He is famous on the positive side for really running a tight ship on PlayStation in Europe. Has really led to some strong momentum in Europe. As if you're aware of a lot of the markets over there, PlayStation really dominates, and so he's accredited with bringing that success for PlayStation over there. And then on the negative side, he is very well known for these comments he made earlier this generation, or a couple years ago, around backwards compatibility and older games, and why would anyone want to play these games? They look terrible nowadays, etc., etc. So as soon as this was announced, there was a lot of rumors and speculation that, would Sony still continue to pursue backwards compatibility for the PS5? Obviously, we don't know. We think it will. But this is more of a corporate announcement. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. The only thing I was going to say personally, guys, is Jim Ryan, if you listen to him speak, he is very much a businessman. He is not, from the conversations I've heard him, have, or the interviews I've seen with him, very much a focused gamer. He's more of a straight business numbers guy. So this is kind of an interesting move, given the direction the industry is heading, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't normally care who the hell's up there in Sony. However, this guy's kind of a dummy to me. I mean, I'm sure he knows his stuff, but it just seems like all these things, like, you know, he just comes out and just says what he wants to say, you know, which I respect that. You know, hey, Knack 2 sucks, or Knack is terrible. He said that, you know, so I'm like, you know, this is your game, man. You know, don't say that kind of stuff. The stuff on backwards compatibility, that's just a mess over there anyway at Sony. And you have Sean Layden come out, basically say, hey, we're going to have, you know, we're pushing towards that. And then we have developers come out and say, nope, that's not even remotely true. I mean, you know, and, you know, it's crazy to me. You know, I don't think there's a huge problem over there, obviously, because they're selling crazy amounts of, you know, consoles and games and stuff. So they're doing fine. I mean, I'm not sure what this move means in the long run. I guess we'll see. I don't really know John Codera very much, so I just know who Jim Ryan is, and not from the great things, you know. So, businessman, sure. I'm not sure how relatable he is to actual gamers, though.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern, as well as the businessman only side of things. If he's not in touch with what is currently going on in gaming right now, that's going to be an issue. Hopefully his ideas have evolved with the cross-play conversation, and as well as the cross-platform and, I guess, backwards compatibility stuff in general. So I don't know what that means yet either. I'm assuming Sony has that figured out. At the same time, there have been Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony have done really well one generation until they bombed the next generation. So they have a ton of momentum going right now. Let's make sure they can keep it going, but I have no idea what that means yet.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And I think the conversation here was more, it's kind of strange because I think on the Sony side, we see more of the business type of presence. Whereas I think on the Xbox side, people get so comfortable speaking and communicating with people like Major Nelson and Phil Spencer and Mike Ybarra. It's just a very different atmosphere in that regard. So it's interesting. All right, a real quick one here, but exciting for me anyway. We've talked a lot about Mortal Kombat 11. They had what they're calling the Combat Cast. They had episode 2 this week, which kind of tied into the Nintendo Direct announcement we talked about. But they unveiled the next major character, and that is Jade. So for me, Bert, I don't know about your thoughts, but Jade is actually my favorite female ninja in the game. I love the staff play, and I just love her moves. And I think the art style they're going with here, and this kind of more underworld approach with her, is really, really cool looking. I love the footage I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I like her quite a bit as well. For me, it's between her and Katana. But yeah, she looks really cool. She was my favorite back in the day, and then they kind of changed her a bit throughout time. And not my favorite anymore, but from what I see from her now, she looks really cool. She's got a really cool fatality, for sure,
Yeah.
which they showed in the video. I always like how creative they are with that, but I'm looking forward to her. She's a cool new character.
Yeah, I'm not going to play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I figured this one wasn't for you, Dan. So.
Not for me, but you know what? Jade
fortunately
looks cool.
for you,
I
Dan.
saw some of that stuff. She looks like a green Darth Maul, man. Wasn't she?
Yeah, she
was she in
looks
like 2 or 3? Is that where she came out? Mortal Kombat. I don't remember playing
Mortal
it.
Kombat
Jade
2.
Is it 2?
Kombat
I think
2.
it was 2, yeah.
Yeah, but they all looked the same. It was her and like 2 other ones that looked exactly identical.
Katana, Melina.
There we go. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, no, man, that's cool. More characters
don't worry,
is
Dan.
awesome. So
This next one is for you. So,
Okay.
Kingdom Come Deliverance,
Shit.
a franchise that we love around here, has been acquired by THQ Nordic. So THQ Nordic, I think we talked about this before, just buying up a lot of IPs. Kind of, it's almost like they're buying a lot of IPs that aren't quite AAA, but they're not indie. You know what I mean? They sit in that kind of space between the AA IPs, Darksiders, and they picked up some old ones like Time Splitters, I think it was, and a few others, but. Dan, the first thing I heard here was that THQ Nordic had complaints around the lockpicking system.
yes,
So, maybe they'll fix this up for you. Who knows?
if that is the case, and nothing else comes of this entire acquisition, then we have succeeded in something, because this is just fix the lock picking and we're done. And I will play the game all the way through tomorrow. All right. Thank you, THQ Nordic. You're a real MVP. That's it. That's all I got to say. Oh.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say on the actual acquisition of Kingdom Come Deliverance, only because I haven't played it, so I can't speak any positive or negative about it. But I do know that THQ Nordic apparently, reportedly, I should say, has over 40 games in development right now, and that's everything from new IPs to games that were purchased, as Ian just mentioned, or even DLC for games that have been developed already, like a Darksiders 3 or something. So they're trying to make a big splash in the I guess the pool of developers right now, and good for them. It's cool to see some of the games that we've loved in the past to kind of get reemergence here, kind of a restart with a big publisher. So we'll see what happens, but I think this is good news.
Yeah, absolutely. Another game, well, not another, a game that has kind of fallen out of spotlight rather quickly. We talked about its sales being disappointing to Electronic Arts is Battlefield 5. They came out this week, announced a co-op mode is coming with 8 missions centered around PvE, and that the Battle Royale mode is, Firestorm, is still coming in the near future. Guys, I know with, everything coming out now, spring starting to hit, Anthem's here, Apex Legends was a huge hit surprise. Battlefield 5 has completely dropped out of my rotation. I don't think I've played it in several weeks now. How about you guys?
Same boat for me. I don't know. I was kind of down on Battlefield 5 to begin with, just because of, number one, their PR thing, like I've mentioned before. Number two, the kind of light of what was released. It just seems like there's constantly weird things coming out, and I don't know where their priorities are, but I know that they were banking a lot on the Battle Royale mode just because that is the genre to play right now. And the fact that it's just so far away, and where we are currently with the modes that are being released and what their focus is right now, it seems like they may actually miss the Battle Royale hype train that's currently going on right now, especially with what Apex has currently released. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. This co-op thing might be something cool to play with your friends, but if it's anything close to what their single-player campaigns were, it's going to be a snooze fest. We're going to lose people while you're in the middle of a mission.
Yeah, how do you miss out on the Battle Royale? I mean, I guess there's a few of them that have just, been complete garbage, but, I mean, this is a AAA game, published by a gigantic developer from, guys that have made these types of games in the past. I just don't understand how or why. It's just bad timing, I think, with everything. And, you got to be quick anymore. You got to strike when the iron's hot in this industry. And it's this is a huge missed opportunity, because I enjoyed Battlefield 5 for what it was. I mean, even though I hate that saying, it is what it is, or, it was fun. I had a good time with you guys, and, it was a gorgeous game. It's just they're just all over the place, and EA is releasing, they released Apex, and now they're gonna have Anthem come out, and that's gonna compete. It's not more, is it excuse me, this type of gamer will play this. It's just time. There's not enough time for all of this stuff, and I think they really missed out on a lot of things with this game. So it's really kind of disappointing.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I don't think, honestly, they didn't already design the single-player missions very well, and I to Bert's point, I don't think a co-op mode with 8 PvE missions is the answer at this point in time. I don't even see why they'd be putting development resources to something like that, but I don't know, I could be wrong, but it just doesn't seem, to your point, I think they're kind of all over the place. I think they needed to focus resources on creating singular or more direct quality things, that rather than trying to spread between single player and co-op and several new multiplayer modes, and then making Battle Royale on the side, which, by the way, Criterion Games is developing. DICE isn't even creating the Battle Royale mode. So who knows what this is going to look like here in a few months, but as always, we'll try it, play it, and give you our thoughts, but it does seem to kind of be all over the place.
Still one of the prettiest games out right now. It's just unfortunate that the rest of it just doesn't run well.
Yeah, stunning. Yeah, I mean, when you're in the middle of a battle and in that native 4K, and the sound is always excellent in Battlefield games, it's amazing. It's just a shame it wasn't, as we said, more focused.
If you can have the most beautiful person in the world and they keep running into walls, it doesn't really matter what that person is. Just get smacking right into it. Bam skis.
All right.
Yep.
Speaking of running into walls, and we don't want to make light of this situation because it's very disappointing for hundreds and hundreds of people, but Blizzard came out. I don't know. I don't know how you do something like this as a company. You come out, Blizzard, they announce record profits, year-over-year record profits. In fact, I believe the statement Bobby Kotick said was another year of record profits. And on the same day, same time that they're announcing this, over 800 people were being let go by the company. Something like, if I recall, guys, 8%, I believe, of the total staff of Blizzard. So this, as we've seen before, massively disappointing. A lot of outrage across the industry on this. The positive here is that many other major development companies across the Microsoft studios, Sony studios, Ubisoft, Electronic Arts kind of came out and said, hey, we're hiring. Please, apply for us, and hopefully all these people, as we always say, land on their feet or hopefully get something even better where they're respected more. But this is really just strange to me. And of course, people start doing the research and they find that, if I recall correctly, I want to say the top 8 employees, so Bobby Kotick and his executive staff, 7 other people, are on pace to make over $100 million in 2019, or made over $100 million in 2018, where they're announcing record profits and laying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people off.
Yeah, this stuff doesn't. I don't understand the whole economics of it. I know Kotick got most of that stuff is in stock options, and and so it's not necessarily money, So I get that. However, 900 plus employees. I don't know the whole ins and outs, and I don't know what those positions were, so I can't really speak on it. But I see it. It's a trend now, especially for smaller, studios. You saw like with Telltale and stuff like that. It's really kind of sad, and I don't know if it's just such a saturated market that if you don't have that hit, But the problem is, this isn't Telltale. This is Blizzard, Activision. This is World of Warcraft. This is Diablo and Call of Duty. It doesn't make any sense. And then you look over at like Nintendo, where they're taking, the presidents are taking cuts in pay, and just to keep the employees, because they understand how that kind of business works. If you've got people sitting there worried about, oh, I'm going to lose my job in the next few months, they're going to put out a shitty product. It's just how it's going to be, So you've got these other people that are sitting there, and they're like, they don't have to worry about it, because you've got people in the leadership positions that are going to take over, and do what they have to do to make quality products. You don't need $100 million. Nobody needs $100 million. You just don't need it. And good for you for making that much, but not this way, guys. You can eat one, Kotick. Take that.
This is kind of a personal thing for me, because I have family that was impacted here. And one thing that's kind of unfortunate is that it wasn't just Blizzard. So obviously Activision owns Blizzard. And so a lot of, I will say, I think it's like 80% of the employees that were laid off were Blizzard employees. But there was still a big faction of Activision employees that were laid off. So Activision corporate has a lot of employees that support other projects as well. So one of the negative things that kind of affected us from a business standpoint is Destiny's gone now. And a lot of the customer support, customer technical support, stuff like that, they were laid off in that sense. One of the things that was kind of affected as well was the esports realm of Activision in general. So a lot of the games that have had esports presences, like Call of Duty, Warcraft, things like that, those folks were laid off as well. One of the things that is really strange in this announcement too is that they are actually staffing up in certain parts of Blizzard that are specific to, I think Diablo has been talked about. They haven't really mentioned which part of the Diablo thing, if it's going to be the mobile game, or as we kind of know, there's rumors that Diablo 4 is in works right now, so there's some of that stuff. But kind of a very unfortunate thing here. Like I said, personally affected here, so I know that some people are very upset with it. Activision is turning into like the new EA, where they buy something, they close things down, and they're horrible at keeping those relationships partnered up. We haven't quite heard all the details as to what happened with Bungie leaving in general, but as we've heard from some people that have leaked out things, it just wasn't a very good relationship between the two. So I don't really know what this means in the long run for Activision. I just know that a lot of people are affected here. You can kind of just keep them in your thoughts. If you know anybody in the industry, make sure to spread resumes around. I do know that in leaked articles, not even with me personally, but there was a decent severance package that was given out, and I think that companies that are laying people off en masse can learn from that. However, they're kind of forced to do it because of the California labor law. So they have to give severance out in to do that. As we kind of found out in previous developers that laid off their staff with no wage whatsoever, no severance. I know people even worked a ton without getting paid with other developers that we won't talk too much about. But it is very negative here when you see CEOs, CFOs, which have actually left. They've gone through CFOs like crazy at Activision, and bonuses that are paid out to the people right there. Whereas you have other big name people like Nintendo that actually take pay cuts so they don't have to lay people off. So I don't know what that means. Like I said, I'm not an expert here. I can't really get into the specifics of what's going on inside the company, but it is unfortunate. And I think Activision has a lot to worry about right now with their studios, games like Call of Duty not meeting their internal expectations, and the future. So we'll see if they turn into the new just toxic publisher out in the world today like EA is.
Yeah, and I think, not for this Bitcast or podcast in general, but this is a larger issue in America. As you pointed out, Bert, you got CEOs taking, or CFOs leaving the company, getting a $25 million bonus for leaving, and then you've got a whole bunch of entry-level employees being laid off. It's just disappointing, that's all. The PC Gamer was kind of funny, throwing some shade at them. They reported on Ubisoft, because they reported their earnings too, and they said Ubisoft, reports very strong earnings, does not lay off 800 people. So to your point, though, yeah, Nintendo became a really good example here. Say what you will about Nintendo, as we always do. But there was a time a few years ago when Iwata was still president that, to your guys' point, they were struggling a little bit, and the executives took pay cuts, and they kept staff on board to turn it around. So I think Dan nailed it. When you have people who are working under the guise of overworked hours, underpaid, the threat of possibly losing your job, what kind of product are you going to get out of those developers? You can't work in that type of environment, not positively. So, yeah. It's disappointing. I hope everyone lands on their feet and actually hopefully land with a better position in a better company. So
yeah, and weird news too that there is a new Call of Duty coming this year. So I don't know what that's going to affect as far as their bottom line, but they did not meet expectations internally for last year. So I don't know if this next one's going to be, but I believe it is Infinity Ward this year that's developing. So that's kind of another big deal.
It is. Yeah, so we can get to that and the rumors. Just one more announcement, and we'll touch on that. So just for awareness for everyone, in case you missed it, Division 2, the closed beta was last weekend. We talked about it. I do have impressions coming of the game coming here probably by next week. But there is an open beta coming in 2 weeks on March 1st through March 4th. So anyone can get in and try it. I was really, really impressed with the beta. So, if you haven't played this yet, jump into it. On your real quick, Bert, there was a rumor this week that I forgot we were going to mention is that yes, it is Infinity Ward's year for Call of Duty, and the rumor came out on some of the intel sites that it is going to be Modern Warfare 4, with the possibility that there'll be Modern Warfare 2 and 3 remastered campaigns coming in a package like they did a couple years ago with Modern Warfare. So I don't have a ton of interest in it. Every year I seem to be less interested in Call of Duty. Something gets me to buy it. This year it was Blackout. I play it for a little bit and then I never touch it again. So, god damn it, I'm gonna not buy Call of Duty this year because it's always a waste of my time. But what do you think, Modern Warfare 4?
I don't know enough. I think it seems like most of the rumors that come out with Call of Duty before they release are pretty true. Especially at this point in the game. Obviously, we'll take a closer look at it at E3. I think the bundling of remasters or charging the extra $20 to be bundled in there, I think that's becoming a little bit tiresome now. But we'll see. I think Call of Duty needs to do something new. If it's the same TDM with maybe a new Battle Royale mode or something, I may actually take a pass on it this year. But I tend to enjoy it. I have family and friends that play it, and that's what kind of links us together with gaming, because a couple of these people only play Call of Duties and nothing else. But we'll see what that turns into and what the release schedule is like in the fall.
Yeah, I'm not going to play it. This is a campaign. I mean, if they do have a campaign,
the rumor is that there will be a campaign this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I saw that, I think. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'll buy it for that just because I've always liked the campaigns in Call of Duty. I didn't buy Blackout. Eventually, I bought Blackout because my kids wanted to play it. So, I have it. I haven't even opened it yet. So, or unlocked it, or launched it, I should say. I opened it. The hell am I, a physical guy? This is crazy. No,
Yeah, about time.
No, let's not do this.
About time you get with the times.
No, I didn't do that. That's a huge lie.
The funny thing here, though, is that in terms of campaign, the last Infinity Ward, which was, why am I blanking on the name? The last one they made, Bert.
Infinity Ward. Oh God, I can't even think
the
now.
space one?
Infinite Warfare?
Yeah,
Infinite Warfare. Thank you. The
awesome.
campaign in that was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was really, really good. So
probably the best one, actually.
They go to that level. Yeah, it was excellent. So that's see. Look, there's already a hook that may get me to buy it yet again. Oh boy.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to a couple reviews we have for you today. So we're going to do two. Bert's going to review Kingdom Hearts 3. And I'm going to review Apex Legends. Bert, we'll start with you. Why don't you tell us about Kingdom Hearts 3 now that you've completed it?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to mention that I am a big Kingdom Hearts fan. If you're not a Kingdom Hearts fan, I'm not going to try to convince you to buy this one because it's a lot of the same. And that's kind of where I want to start the review. And if you played Kingdom Hearts 1, you played Kingdom Hearts 2, those are the main core games. The other ones have turned into mobile games, and you don't really have to play those in order to understand what's happening in 3. I took roughly around 35 total hours to get this game done. It is a lot more of the same, like I want to mention, and the worlds are kind of the newer Disney worlds that exist in the new Disney movie. So you have Tangled there, Pirates of the Caribbean's part of it. You have Ains' favorite, Frozen, is part of this one. The Toy Story world is here. So if you are not a fan of the newer Disney movies, you don't really relate to any of the Disney characters in the new movies, this one may not be for you. One of the things that is kind of out of this one that was really impactful in part 1 and 2 is a lot of the Square characters don't really make too much of an appearance in this one. This one's more focused on the events that have happened in 1 and 2, and you're turning something into here. The negatives of this game that really bug me is the controls and the cameras while you're fighting. Sometimes you can really lose what the hell is going on in your actual fight, and that is my biggest negative about this game. The story also starts very slow, picks up, drops off again, and then gets really, really good at the end. So as far as total review score, it's going to land somewhere between a 7 and an 8. If I was to give it somewhere in the middle, which we don't really do, it's a 7.5, mainly because of some of the ups and downs. I also found the menus to be very confusing and very complex for many basic things that you should be able to do. The other thing is that you can play this game as deep as you want and as shallow as you want. So if you're a big button masher, you can get through with playing with just one of the keyblades. And in my opinion, that's a big negative. When you're going to these different worlds and you get big keyblades and different powers and stuff, you want to use those and kind of include them in the game. In this game, you don't have to do that at all. I'm not sure if that's Square's way of kind of getting people in and just anybody can play, and then you can have someone that's really into the deepness, they can kind of get something out of it as well. But you don't have to do any of that in this game to do that. So that's why I don't have it as a 10, as some people have called this the game of the year. I don't think it's the game of the year. I think it's great. I think it's good. I would say it's maybe what we kind of waited for after this long period of time. Was it worth the long wait? If you're a big Kingdom Hearts fan, yes. If you're a casual fan, no. So I'm not going to, like I said at the beginning of the review, I'm not going to try to convince you to go play this. If you're interested in it, buy it on a sale. If you are really been waiting for a long time, you will enjoy it. You will love it. The ending does not close it off, so there's more Kingdom Hearts coming, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. But it's a great game. Loved a lot about it. Loved a lot of the worlds. Play it if you want to play it.
So Kingdom Hearts 4, 2038. Right?
Yeah.
I hope it's it is pretty, by the way, very pretty game. So
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, with the extremely long development time. In fact, I don't know if there's ever been a game that's taken as long between 2 and 3. But regardless, do you notice that while playing? And what I mean by that is, usually with games that are really long development tail, there's areas that were made on prior gen hardware or engines, yes. And so, they have to go back and try and touch them up, but you can kind of notice what's new versus what's old, and there's this weird dichotomy between the things as you're playing through the game. Do you notice that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so great question. And to kind of give super detail on what happened, they were initially running on the engine that Final Fantasy 15 is running on and released on. They actually scrapped all that and they're on the entirely new engine, which is the Unreal Engine, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the engine they're currently on, but it plays fantastic. But yes, there is definitely some areas that you can tell that were developed a while ago and kind of maybe neglected just to kind of push forward the story. And kind of one of the weird things about Kingdom Hearts is the world that you in is kind of the story at that moment. So you have to kind of enjoy what's going on there. And some of the old development, you can tell, like in the Hercules world, Olympus or whatever I guess you'd call it, some of that stuff is very dated. And you can really feel that. Whereas you go to a different world, like maybe the Pirates of the Caribbean or even the Frozen one, and it's a lot more newer, a lot prettier looking, a lot more polished. So yes, there is that. You can definitely notice that. One thing that has thrown people off is that when they have some of the flashbacks from the previous games, they are using the graphics from that time for that flashback. So you may be looking at a flashback from a mobile game, and it really kind of takes you out of the experience when you're currently playing a current PS4 game, and you're kind of like, what's going on? And especially if you never played those mobile games, these were designed for the Nintendo DS, keep in mind. So it takes you out of the experience for a second, but some of the graphics are so clean at times that they look like a current Pixar movie. So it's kind of hit and miss on that.
Hey, well, let me ask you this: are there any? You've got Tangled and Frozen and is it Big Hero 6, Pirates of the Caribbean? Are there any Disney franchises? Because you say Hercules, I don't even know when that came out. It was like '92 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But okay, so are there any of those franchises that you would have liked to have seen in Kingdom Hearts 3 that maybe you think might have missed? With like Marvel movies and Star Wars and all the other stuff that Disney owns now, unfortunately. But which ones were missing that you think you would have liked to see?
Yeah, so some of the newer Pixar movies, I've mentioned this before, and people have kind of disagreed with me, but WALL-E is my favorite Pixar movie. I would have loved to seen like a WALL-E world, maybe more of Pixar in general. So Pixar that's included is Monsters, Inc., which is cool. And I don't want to go too far because I might be ruining worlds for people that haven't seen this, and it's almost spoilerish. But Monsters, Inc., Toy Story are the only two Pixar movies or whatever on there. They did include Tangled, which is a very good movie, and My Hero 6, which is fantastic as well. But yeah, to answer your question directly, Dan, maybe some of the newer Disney movies, even Moana is pretty good. That would have been cool to be there. But there's so much stuff to pick from. And Hercules, to your initial root of your question, Hercules is the only one that's older that is in this game as far as like a classic Disney movie. And even Hercules, I would argue, is not a classic Disney movie when you look at the pre-90 movies and stuff like that. But those were talked about and played in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. So just a few of them, Dan, if I answer you directly. Maybe some of the newer Pixar movies, like maybe Brave even, I would have liked to seen in it. But it's really, I have to imagine, it's really hard to pick what you're going to include and what you're not going to include in this game.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah, especially when they have that many IPs and old movies. Yeah. I mean, it's endless.
Yeah, so. Zero Marvel, by the way. Zero Marvel in all of Kingdom Hearts. I think that's intentionally. Zero Star Wars also in Kingdom Hearts in this one.
So, it's funny. No, I was thinking, because as you said that, I'm thinking, Zero Star Wars, because Disney owns the Star Wars license, right? But EA owns the Star Wars video game license.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's kind of a strange overlay there, I guess, with the licenses. But anyway, check out Bert's review on the site, the rest of the written review, and thank you for that, Bert. I'm going to go ahead and review Apex Legends for us. My review is up on the site already. I scored it sensational, which is around a 9 on our scale. We talked about it extensively last week, so I'm not going to say too much here, guys. We've continued to play a lot of it. I think I'm over 40 hours in 2 weeks since its launch. It is, from a Battle Royale perspective, you kind of know what you're getting. This is multiplayer only, 3-player squad only. If you don't have friends on, you're playing with randoms automatically. It's a very focused game. Now, but what is unique about this and what makes it so good is just how well it's polished and how strong the ideas are, that they've taken the core of what Battle Royale is. A big group of people on a single large map, a ring that's closing in on you, looting an item and trying to survive. You have one life. All of those aspects are in there for Apex Legends, but they've streamlined it so well and they've polished it so well that it creates a unique experience that, frankly, as I said in my written review, is rather untouched right now. So if you enjoy competitive games, if you enjoy multiplayer, especially if you have a couple other friends that like to play these games, and you haven't tried Apex Legends yet, get on it because it is remarkable. Respawn has, they just have a knack for first-person shooters due to the movement system, the gun mechanics, just the feel of the game overall is phenomenal. And I will say that, a lot of the things that really hamper other Battle Royale experiences, particularly games like PUBG, is the nuance around managing inventory and managing your weapons, trying to, figure out what you should put on your guns, trying to figure out, should I put this helmet on or this armor on or etc. Basically, Apex Legends takes all of those decisions that you have to make constantly, and they simplify it. They take it right out of your hands so that you can focus on the gameplay itself and the combat itself. And I think that was a very intuitive design decision by Respawn, and it won't surprise me if we see Epic and Bluehole and the other Battle Royale makers, the Call of Duty, Blackout, start to incorporate some of these decisions in their games because it's just created a much, much better experience. When you take all of those factors of how smooth it is and the intelligent decisions that keep you kind of engaged, and then you layer on top of it an Overwatch-like system with Legends, where you have 8 unique characters with more coming that have unique abilities, and you can kind of team those up with one another in your squad. It is just, like I said, it's a remarkable game. I'm shocked that we didn't know more about it sooner, that they kept the wraps on it. And I think it deserves every ounce of its sensational rating that I'm giving it. So, Bert, I know we've played it a lot. In fact, I think most of the time I've spent playing it has been with you. I don't know if you guys have any further comments or questions for me from a review perspective for this one.
Yeah, I have one really quick for you, and then Dan, obviously jump in if you have one. You may have none. You're like, all right, moving on. But
got one.
My one question for you, Ains, is if you were to change or add one thing into the game, what would it be?
Wow. Well, I used to have one. Now I don't have one. Good question, Bert. All right.
So, yeah, I think, funny enough, someone actually posed that question, and I think there's a lot of things I would say, but none of them are deal-breaking. And what I mean by that is I'd like to see a bigger map, maybe not necessarily squads of 4, even though that may be cool, but I'd like to see, 80 or 100 player map rather than 60. Today it's, as you know, 20 squads of 3 for 60 players. I think that the movement is so good in the game. It's so fast and so well designed. I don't know if vehicles are going to be a smart move for this game. A lot of people have questions if we're going to get vehicles, and maybe on the second map it's going to be bigger and they'll get vehicles. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. So we'll see there. I would like to see, just because I'm a stat nerd, I would like to see better statistical tracking. You only kind of see what you do with each legend right now. There's no way to look at everything from a profile perspective. But I think a lot of those a lot of those wish list items are really just quality of life and things that we'll see over time as they update the game. They've already said new legends are coming, new guns are coming. There's a battle pass coming in a few weeks in March. So really, I don't have a lot of items that I think need to be added. Of course, I think it might be cool if you add solo play, so you could go in. But with the communication system, the ping system being so well designed, I don't even know if that's necessary. I've won several matches now with randoms just because you can communicate so well without even using a mic. So, I don't know. Respawn's just kind of nailed it. I don't have a lot of open complaints.
Nice. That was literally my question. All right, so. Cool.
Well, Dan, I know that you're not into Battle Royales. I know you don't really care for the competitive side of it. But if nothing else, I would say jump into a game sometime with Bert and I to play it, just to feel it, because it is so smooth from a shooter perspective. I think it may surprise you.
I'll give it a shot. I'm always open to new things sometimes.
And it's free, why not?
It's free,
so
right?
I would say if I do have one complaint, the game is free. And so this may not even be a fully valid complaint. But the cosmetics that you can buy are overly expensive. For instance, there's a gun skin in the shop right now. I think that's like $12 for a gun skin. That's a little obnoxious. I think if you I know they have to make money. I'm happy to support the game. I will be buying the Battle Pass and other things to support the developers, of course. But gun skins for $12, come on, guys. You can do better than that. And there's no way to unlock packs where you get your skins and all the other stuff you can unlock. There's no way to unlock those after leveling up without using real money. So they give you points, but you can't unlock packs with points, and I think that's a miss as well. You should reward the people who are playing your game endlessly and streaming it and, supporting the content. So that's about it.
I would pay $12 for a Chappie skin. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be really neat though. That would be neat. All right, so let's talk about beyond obviously those things that we're currently playing, guys. The spring rush has begun. We've been talking about it for a couple months with the release dates, and it has started. So just this week, we got the early access to Anthem, which is the major one. We got Far Cry New Dawn, we got Metro Exodus, and we got Crackdown 3. And I know we're all playing a mix of these things. So guys, why don't you touch on what you've been playing?
Yeah, I can start. I've been playing Anthem, obviously. I got maybe 2.5 hours left on my trial, so I'll probably start up a new account and buy live and EA access.
Make sure you pick the right voice.
Yeah, make sure I pick the right voice. I've been really enjoying it. I think it's I'm a hardcore gamer, but I'm a casual gamer. It's kind of a weird thing. I love my video games, but I'm not super competitive, like we've said. So the PvE stuff is really cool for me. My biggest complaint with it right now is that I only have 10 hours. So, but I don't care about the story so much, which is kind of disappointing me right now. I hope that I can get into it a little bit more. I mean, it's also still, there's supposed to be a big day one patch as well, so I don't know what, as far as other issues. There obviously are some issues. We've had connection issues. We've had just several different things, enemies just glitching out and all kinds of weird stuff. Is what it is. I've enjoyed it so far. I've been playing Crackdown 3 a little bit. I would say it's probably right where it needs to be, Metacritic-wise. Is what it is. That's what everybody says about that game. Hey, it's Crackdown 3. It's just Crackdown, guys. Oh, yeah. So what? You know what? If you took God of War 3, all right, and then compared it to the new God of War game, don't come at me with this garbage and damage controlling, whatever. It's fine. Enjoy the game. Do what you want to do. But it is what it is. It's basically remastered Crackdown. And that's fine for people who want that. It's Game Pass material, which is, says a lot. And I've been playing Far Cry New Dawn. That's also Far Cry. So it's basically, there's not a whole lot to say about it. I'm going to have a review for it. Hopefully I will finish it this week. I think that shouldn't be an issue. So next week I'll have a review for it on the Bitcast. But it's fun. It's just another Far Cry game. There's not a whole lot of innovation going on. But, it's pink. There's a lot of pink. That's about the best thing I could say about it right now. So that's it, man. That's all I've been playing.
Bert, what are you been up to?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to jump in, Ames. My bad.
Nope.
So I'm still playing Resident Evil 2, believe it or not. I love the game. It's fantastic. I've finished all the playthroughs. Played it through 4 times with the main characters on normal difficulty. I fully admit I tried to speed run Claire's on assisted difficulty to see how fast I could get through it, and I got through in 3 hours and 5 minutes on assisted difficulty, just kind of running through, shooting people as fast as I could. That was fun, and I'm currently on Claire's first hardcore playthrough, and I'm about 5 hours into it, and I'm almost done. I'm getting there at the very end, then I'll be done with it. Didn't initially think I was going to go for 1,000 gamer score, and I think it's still going to be really hard to do it, but I will probably do it, which is looking like I might be able to do. The other one that I've finished, obviously, Kingdom Hearts for the review. Playing a ton of Apex. That's my main multiplayer game right now, and that's what it'll stick to. Started Crackdown 3. I'm about 2.5 hours into it. I don't really want to mention too much about it because it is what it is. As Dan said, it's nothing special, I guess, unless you're a massive Crackdown fan. I am looking for someone to play co-op campaign through it just to get through it and have more fun with it. But if any of you guys want to partake, let me know. I'd love to play co-op and kind of leave it at that, but I probably won't come back to it. Anthem, I'm glad I've got EA access because that's probably where I'm going to leave it in the 10-hour trial. And funny enough, in playing Crackdown 3, I have a huge urge to go back and finish Infamous Second Son. So it's very, very similar to the point to where it's questionable to me as the development cycle of this game and where they took influence from. But I should have that done within the next few days. I was very close to being done already.
Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty similar to you guys. Been playing a lot of Anthem. Played an hour and a half of Crackdown. Tons of Apex Legends, as I just said. So on Anthem, I'm getting concerned. I'm getting concerned that this is turning out to be the game that we kind of thought it may be. And what I mean by that is there's definitely some bugs still present. To Dan's point, we'll see what that day one official launch patch brings next week. But I've been disconnected several times. I've lost mission progress. And but that's not even really what concerns me. What concerns me is that the world is beautiful. I love flying around and finding things. It's very fun to play, especially if you've got some friends. But that's where it seems to end right now. The story hasn't grabbed me at all. The characters feel lifeless. And we're seeing reports out of guys who are, at the end game, early reviews coming out from like PC Gamer that are not very, very, I was looking for a better word here, but not very kind, saying that Fort Tarsis is, kind of a waste. It's a whole bunch of people standing around talking. They never do anything. And yet you have to walk through it at snail's pace over and over again between missions. The mission variety is lacking. The end game loot hunt is lacking. So I'm concerned here. I think that this may end up having the same thing that happened with Destiny 1, where you're going to get that hardcore group of people that are fine just playing it and grinding it. And a lot of other people may just move on, especially given the games that we're getting this spring. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to at least putting more time in and playing more with you guys. On Crackdown, you guys already said it. It's Crackdown. And I think Microsoft has even said it's Crackdown. If you enjoy Crackdown, you'll likely like it. I'm having some fun with it so far. You can definitely see it's a little more dated, even though it's got some cool colors that pop, and the city looks pretty neat, and it's kind of funny, but otherwise it's Crackdown. So, all right, anything to add on anything else before we get to name that game, guys?
Yeah, I do want to mention the Neil Blomkamp Anthem short that released. It's from Oat Studios,
Yes.
which is kind of his YouTube channel that he does his stuff. First of all, I'm a huge Neil Blomkamp fan. I like literally all his movies. Some are actually better than others, but one thing you can't second guess with him is the way he shoots and his special effects. So take out the plots of some of these movies, and it's just epic. And for me, the thing that's been most exciting about Anthem is this short that he had. It's really quick. I think it's maybe 10 minutes long, if that. But definitely watch it. The dude deserves some definite respect on the way he shoots movies.
Wait a minute. Did you watch one
Yeah,
that I
it
didn't
was-
watch? Because it was like 3 minutes. What did I miss?
Is it only 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. It's really short then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it's 3 minutes.
I was like, wait a minute. Is there another one? Because I want to see the full version.
Yeah, I might have gotten mistaken here because his other stuff on there is 15, 20 minutes long, 10 minutes
Right.
long, and it's all worthwhile. Yeah, it's so good.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It-
It was like an extended game trailer.
Yeah, I liked.
But it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think. Sorry, Dan. I think people
You're
were
fine.
calling for an Anthem TV show or movie. As we always do when we see video games translated well to things like this. So, pretty neat. All right, guys, you ready for the name that game?
Nope.
Couldn't be more ready.
You're going first,
Couldn't
Bert.
be more ready. Okay, Bert's going first. All right, guys. Okay, let's get it kicked off here. As always, we say, I hope I have these in a decent order where it's not too hard, but it's not too easy. So here we go. It was released in 2012 for multiple platforms.
No one's ever going to get it on the first question. I just know it.
No.
But
I know someone who's gotten it on the second question a couple times.
Yep.
2012. On all, you said multiple platforms. You said
Multiple platforms, yes.
is that including PC?
It's like a huge, huge.
I'm asking the questions here, guys.
huge.
Come on now.
God, 2012.
No idea. What'd you say? What'd you pick? So I don't pick
Rayman.
it?
Rayman.
Nope. It's a great game.
What's Rayman? Oh, I know what Rayman is.
Stop it. Stop it.
FIFA.
FIFA. It's definitely released in 2012.
2012. You're welcome.
All right. Question 2 has spin-offs, including comics, graphic novels, and a supposed movie that's in production.
Damn.
You're up, Dan.
Shit. Madden. Nope, I'm not gonna do Madden. I don't know what the hell was released in 2012, man. A lot of stuff was released in 2012. Shit. I'm just gonna go with my standby. Sonic. 4.
4. That only probably takes us to about 95.
Right. Okay. I was close.
To clarify your clue, did you say rumored movie or it is in production for sure?
Well, you know how some of these things go, so it's been said that it's in production.
Said it's in production. Is it Gears of War?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
No.
Another great series that the third member of the podcast needs to play. There was an online MMO-style version of the game that was developed for the Chinese market, but later canceled prior to actually releasing.
It's my answer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it the Warhammer?
Say it again. I'm sorry, you broke up.
Warhammer?
Nope.
This is not easy. Lego Star Wars.
MMO Chinese Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't
want
know.
to see that game.
I'm just throwing shit out there, man. Just see what sticks.
It is the second game in a series that has 3 core games.
Second game in a series that has 3. Okay.
Fudge. I don't remember any of these things. Mass Effect 2?
That's a good guess, but no.
Nope.
How about StarCraft 2?
Nope.
Ooh,
Also a
I
good
like
guess,
it.
but no.
Shit.
All right.
I was rooting for you.
Let's lighten it up a bit here. It is known for its over-the-top sense of humor.
Oh.
Shit.
Uncharted?
Nope.
Man, is that funny? I don't fucking.
Remember
Borderlands.
2012 too.
Something.
Leisure Suit Larry. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. 2012. I don't know. Borderlands 2?
Nailed it.
Did I really?
Borderlands 2. We'll give it to you. Yes. You got it.
Oh shit! Yeah. Fuck yeah.
What the hell? I didn't even know there was a movie on that one. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yep.
That was more of a yay. There's a movie maybe.
Funny enough, I was gonna leave the humor one for one more. The other one, question 5, I was gonna give was the original design of the game referred to the characters as similar to pirates among a world of corporations and military.
I probably wouldn't have gotten it. Just throwing shit out there. I didn't even know that's when it came out.
Open world FPS, co-op 4 players. There's a Vita and PSVR ports or versions.
I didn't know there was an MMO.
And of course, developed by Gearbox. We've done it in the past. I was looking for Borderlands 2, but I think we've said, we need to probably clarify if we're going to go for the exact game or just the series. So, doesn't matter. You nailed it. Got it on question 5, funny enough. So, wasn't
Way to go, Dan.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, say.
Hercules.
Yeah, so apparently in late 2016 they announced a movie with in production with Lionsgate. So
Sweet.
But then again, like I said, how many times have we heard a movie version of these games is coming and they never
Still
come?
waiting for BioShock.
We'll see.
Oh man, the producers are Avi Arad. That means it'll never happen.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I'm still mad about the BioShock movie. I'm never getting over it.
And the Halo movie.
Well, at least, we'll see. I mean, it's definitely in production. We know that, but we'll see how good the Halo Showtime show is. I hope it's good.
Uncharted been rumored for a while too. Jeez.
Yep, and Gears. So, anyway, good job, Dan. Not too bad on that one. All right, so let's go ahead and close it out, guys. That is our Bitcast 46. We've got a few things in the works, including we've been talking about this one for a while, but we're working on a series for examining the classics. We've kind of buttoned down some things, and we do have this coming for you soon, so we'll think you'll enjoy it. Guys, anything you want to call out before we head out?
Yeah, I've got a quick video coming on battery options for the Xbox One controller. So that should be out this week. As you obviously know, Xbox controllers don't have an internal battery, but there's about 50,000 options you can do to have a good working battery in this one. So I'm going to be going over a number of the ones I own and the best ones in my opinion. So that's coming.
Cool, man.
Sweet.
Nope. I got hopefully the Far Cry New Dawn review will be up this week sometime. And that's it. That's all I got coming.
All right. Very good. Well, thanks for joining us. As always, you can find us seasongaming.com. You can find us on Twitter at seasongaming, Porsche Power, Shrub_SG, D Rodriguez, WSDC. Appreciate your support as always. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.